The hunt for the modern NBA wing is a relentless pursuit. Teams aren't just looking for size, they're searching for chaos agents, long, athletic, disruptive forces who can slide up and down the positional spectrum, tilting the court in their favor on both ends. At a listed 6'10" with a reported 7-foot plus wingspan, Caleb Wilson isn't just a candidate, he's a prototype. A McDonald's All-American headed to North Carolina, Wilson is a 5-star talent built in a lab for today's game. But forget the hype for a moment, the evaluation of Caleb Wilson is simpler than that. He possesses a combination of size, athleticism, tools on both sides of the ball, paired with a high-level feel that are incredibly scarce, and his development at UNC will be about refining his skills to match those outlier tools. Now, the first thing that jumps off the tape with Caleb Wilson is the fluidity. For a player his size, his movement is borderline unnatural at times. He glides with the gait of a gazelle in the open floor, covering ground with smooth, devastatingly long strides that he uses to beat everyone up the court in transition for easy buckets at the cup. But do not mistake smooth for soft. This is a strong, explosive athlete who will play above the rim and try to punch it on anyone. Whether filling the lanes and catching a monster oop or securing a board and cruising coast to coast, Wilson was a monster in transition, finishing in the 91st percentile in Nike EYBL play with the Knight Riders Elite per Synergy Sports. In the half court, Wilson operates with a smooth, efficient pace. He's not purely a blur or getting by using his strength to bully defenders. He's a skilled shot creator who generates his looks in a variety of ways. Watch him here facing up out of the triple threat. Wilson's going to use a shoulder shimmy to get the defender off balance and then calmly spin off his defender's shoulder to get to his spot in the in-between as the help defender digs at the ball. Now, Wilson loves operating in this mid-range area, using turnaround faders or simply using his physical tools to rise up and calmly shoot over an outstretched contest of the defender. While the mid-range has been phased out for plenty of role players, which is certainly an outcome for Wilson, the midi is still a highly valuable shot for the big creator archetype. Think Jason Tatum, Pascal Siakam, those style wings who show the requisite touch and creativity to get these looks off cleanly and efficiently. Now, Wilson does settle for these shots at times, forcing the issue early in the shot clock instead of working for a more efficient shot near the rim or stepping back behind the three-point line. And Wilson's penchant and preference for getting to this spot in the in-between stems not only due to his ability to make these shots, but also in part due to his inconsistency as a three-point shot maker. Whilst the 15-game sample with the Knight Riders is small, Wilson shot just 22% on 28 three-point shot attempts with the team in 2024. Add in his 14% on 14 attempts with the Georgia Stars in 2024 and the 21% on 76 attempts with the Georgia Stars in 2023, and we start to get a larger sample of an area of his game where he'll need to see real improvement to reach his top-end outcome. Now, what makes you want to potentially buy into the outside shot creation is that there are flashes where the shot looks comfortable and fluid, and his ability to use his handle and footwork to create space from behind the line is legit. You can convince me that this is a Paul George pull-up with how smooth it looks, but as pretty as it can look when it goes in, the shot has to start going in with way more regularity. As it stands, the shot gets a little palmy and hitchy, and while he can compensate getting off clean looks with the high release, his shot prep and base can be inconsistent, especially on spot-up attempts, which should be a main focus playing off of a guy like Hyan Evans next season at North Carolina. Still, I don't think the shooting is completely a lost cause, but Wilson will really need to show an upward trajectory for NBA teams to truly buy into any long-term equity there. Now, what keeps Wilson intriguing is that even when the jumper isn't falling, he still finds ways to score the rock. Wilson's flashed some real wiggle and creativity to get downhill, displaying guard-like fluidity en route to the rim. I love the pace he displays here, handling the initial pressure, spinning off, keeping his defender on his hip, and playing with pace so he doesn't recklessly drive into the help, playing into space, and finishing through multiple defenders. And though he misses this attempt, I love the between-the-leg setup with the hang hezzy to create an advantage and beat his man, using his long strides to attack the rim. Now, Wilson's also adept at using slick Euro steps and decels, and when he gets momentum, he'll try to yam on anyone, be it off a rim attack or a putback attempt where he flies in out of nowhere. And while Wilson flashes really interesting creation skills, especially at his size, the handle does get loose at times and out of control, where he's forced to string multiple combos together. You'll also see some draft feet where he'll slide and lose his balance on a move that's a little too ambitious, leading to a turnover. But even when Wilson doesn't have the rock, he still finds ways to create shots utilizing strong timing on off-ball cuts, showing good instincts sneaking in along the baseline when his man slides over to help off the drive or falls asleep. Wilson also plays with real motor and is great attacking the offensive glass. We're talking putbacks, quick second jumps, using extension with his standing reach to go get the ball. And while on the perimeter, he moves with the fluidity of a wing. Near the rim, he's completely comfortable moving like a big man. I love how he uses a power dribble here to explode and go up strong for that Shaq-like two-hand flush. But even when he doesn't get a chance to go right back up with the ball, he's still flying in, creating extra possessions for the offense with his hustle. You also kind of see the big man stuff by giving Wilson the ball at the short porch or on the block and letting him play with his back to the basket, using the threat of that turnaround jumper to spin off defenders with clean footwork and create shots at the rim. And on possessions where he doesn't finish, he does a great job embracing contact to generate free throw attempts, helping boost his overall efficiency despite the woeful shooting numbers. I also think an underutilized aspect of Wilson's game, which could be utilized at the next levels, could be as a pick and roll screener, where he can make quick dives to the rim to finish or make use of his playmaking skills. And those playmaking skills are where Wilson really starts to separate himself from some of the other raw, toolsy prospects. He's probably not going to be a primary initiator that's going to be the driving force for your offense, but he's a brilliant passer capable of making high-level reads in transition and the half court. Now, Wilson is looking to make a play as soon as he grabs the board, processing his hit-ahead outlet opportunities in the blink of an eye. It's an elite micro skill he used in high school, showing his ability to lead his teammates down court like a quarterback does a receiver. And when he grabs the board and leads the break himself, you can kind of see shades of a dude like Lamar Odom, as he's no stranger to busting out some real style and flair in those playmaking reads. In the half court, Wilson is capable of slick, creative passes as well, using his height and plus feel to sling dimes to rollers and more advanced skips to shooters on the weak side. I love the poise and pace here, as Wilson beats his man sideline, slows down, uses a little retreat dribble as the help rotates to double, before slinging a cross-court hit to the wing for an easy dime. We see a similar look here as he hits a wicked cross to play into space and shift the defense so he can fire a laser to the weak side corner. This is another slick read here off the cut, simulating the kind of processing that he could use at a short roll situations. And look at this live dribble laser threading the needle in tight space. That is a ballsy pass into traffic that's perfectly timed and placed so his man can get in position to go right up with it. And while the passing adds to the versatility of his offensive profile, it's the defense where things start to get really, really exciting. As this is the side of the ball where Caleb Wilson doesn't just make a case for the lottery, he makes a case for potentially ending up in the top 5. See, Wilson wasn't just a good defender at the high school level. He operated as a defensive eraser, nullifying mistakes and eliminating scoring opportunities at the rim and on the perimeter. Wilson is a walking defensive highlight reel due to his monster event creation. His elite instincts paired with his physical tools allow Wilson to consistently flash his glamour muscles on this side of the floor. He averaged 4.4 combined steals and blocks per game on the 2024 EYBL circuit with the Knight Riders per synergy, a ludicrous number that speaks to his disruptiveness. His length is just a nightmare for opponents at the rim, as he can roam around as a low man like a predator waiting for his prey, or slide over from the weak side of the floor in an instant to protect the rim, either getting vertical or punching a shot into the stands. Even when he doesn't get a piece of the ball, he's still making the offensive player think and making an impact, altering rim attempts through sheer intimidation. Wilson's tools allow him to cover so much ground on the court. Even though he misses the steal playing the passing lanes and ends up on the bench on this possession, he's still able to get up and make it to the rim in time to send the shot into the stands. You see more of this ability to cover so much ground from a standstill here due to his length, an asset he uses along with active hands to force strips and poke balls away on digs from the nail and the slot, or even when he plays as the big in a drop. Now, on the ball, he can get low, sit in his stance, and smother his man with his overwhelming size and length. He's quick to flip his hips, and he uses his length to contest everything. Dude's size can rarely slide the way that he does. I mean, look at how effortlessly he's able to guard versus momentum in transition here, backpedaling and absorbing the contact, and still getting a big-time effort contest on Tyrone Stokes. You see his ability to check up on an island here as Wilson gives no ground to AJ Debonsa. Debonsa tries to lull him to sleep and beat him off the bounce, but it's shadowed by Wilson, forcing AJ to give up the rock. Debonsa retreats out to the three-point line where he receives a pass for a catch-and-shoot look, but Wilson's able to get back out for an extension contest, forcing the miss. We see another monster possession here, first starting out on Tyrone Stokes, cutting off the baseline drive, forcing him to retreat and dish the ball to Debonsa, who Wilson now switches onto. Wilson slides, pushing him into the help at the rim, forcing a pickup, and then finishes it off by blocking Debonsa's layup. When shooters do get a look off, Wilson's making it hard, man. He's disrupting jumpers with his outstretched length. Here we see his positional versatility displaying the strength and length to body up and defend the post as well. Now, Wilson is certainly not without his flaws on this end. There's definitely some room to clean up, some poor habits he displays from time to time. His feet can get a little fidgety on closeouts, and sometimes he'll run through the contest, taking himself out of the play. He'll occasionally get a bit lazy and gamble for a steal, trying to poke the ball away from behind when he gets beat, or overcommit his focus to the ball when he's off of it, playing himself out of position, leading to late contests when the ball swings back his way, and also sometimes he gets a bit jumpy trying to block shots. Ultimately, though, we're talking about a high school kid still learning, growing, and nailing down the little details of the game. Even with some of these mistakes, Wilson projects to be a major defensive impact maker next season. So big picture, what are you buying if you're investing early into Caleb Wilson's game? You're buying stock in a long, athletic, disruptive wing who is built for the modern NBA. You're buying the defensive ceiling of a Jonathan Isaac or a Tari Eason, a player who can single-handedly disrupt an offensive game plan. You're betting on the significant offensive flashes, the fluidity, the butting handle, the connected passing, and a flawed but hopefully projectable jumper. The ceiling maybe looks a little bit like what Jonathan Bender was hyped up to be long ago, a unicorn long before that term was coined. Now, he may not be the consensus generational talent at the top of the board in the top 3, but in a draft defined by upside, Caleb Wilson's potential is as vast as his wingspan. He's the kind of chaos agent that championship teams are built around, and in Chapel Hill, he has the perfect stage to turn that potential into production.